The question, sir, was after that experience, did it affect your mindset when you came back home? How did it change you?
No, it did not.
My mindset didn't change very much. We were still in the war. We had to get on to another job and get on with it. So I didn't change my mindset at all. I just still had the rest of the job to do.
His question was, what was the hardest part of the experience of a crash landing?
We didn't bail out. We ditched in the China Sea. And that was one of the hardest parts. If I had to pick something, was that landing in the water. But the airplane done real well. Could bounce along the waves and stayed level. Floated for 10 minutes. We got out of the airplane and everything was going okay. The rest of that story would take a while, but that was my worst part, was just getting out of the airplane, and our life raft got deflated on the way to the island, so you can kind of imagine the rest.
What motivated you all to come into the military?
What were your individual motivations for joining the military?
That's pretty easy. I was looking for a job. I found one. I sort of become fascinated by airplanes. I had never seen one up close, seen them flying over. And when I seen a poster in the post office that said the Army Air Corps needed airplane mechanics, and I thought, well, that's probably something I'd like to do. So I enlisted, just looking for a job. Patriotism wasn't a big thing in 1939. It just, you know, the depression was still on a little bit. I needed a job. That's it.
Ever since I first saw my first airplane, I wanted to learn, take a ride in one. And then when I was 19, I enlisted for 3 years, December 1940. Went to Hurlburt Field and took basic training there. I hoped to see the Pacific Northwest in that 3 years, but within a year and a half I've been around the world. So I really got to see everything.
My motivation was that I was born and raised in Dayton, Ohio, and as a young kid I built model airplanes, and also every month when the payroll for Wright Field was due, a Curtis Hawk circled over the armored car down to the bank and back out to the airfield. And my ideal was to be the pilot of that Curtis Hawk and go after the bad guys.
What kind of leadership tips do you have when you're going into a risky situation like that?
Our crew had a chance to fly with Colonel Doolittle before we started our training. We flew several times around the state. And outside of being in awe all the time of being able to fly with Colonel Doolittle, observed the way he treated people. For instance, we would go to an air base and land. He would fill out the Form 1, and he would not leave the airplane until the crew chief had finished gassing it up or doing anything that needed to be done. And then he would make sure that the crew chief was taken to his barracks or quarters before he went to his. It was indicated to me that he treats his people in a very, very polite way.
He's asking, once you knew what was expected of you, how did you mentally prepare yourself for the mission?
Well, I'm not quite sure how to answer that, but my feeling was that I hoped I could do the job as well as it needed to be done. And responsibility for my airplane was a little bit heavy on my mind, so that's how I felt about going on the mission. Just hoping I could do the job.
Hey, Phil, Colonel Cole, I think, wanted to answer that.
No, Colonel Cole.
No, Colonel Cole.
Since we didn't know what the mission was exactly, we decided the best thing to do was take advantage of your training and try to learn about what we were going to do as much as you could without breaking security regulations. In other words, while we were on the carrier, we got briefings on how to take care of yourself if you get shot down, and being on the carrier kind of developed a real positive attitude from in the crew, and also from some of the Navy people that had experience in combat already, which none of our group had any combat experience initially.